So the other day, YouTube decided to release some new guidelines as to what type of content can be monetized on their platform, and needless to say, it's been a complete train wreck, and universally, all creators seem to hate the new guidelines that YouTube is putting out there. And it's massively demonetizing content that has been monetized on their platform for 5, 10 plus years. This content has been there completely fine, and now all of a sudden, no, YouTube doesn't want to put ads on it. So it's been a complete train wreck. Everyone's being affected by it, some of the largest creators out there, and there's a good chance that the gaming niche specifically is going to have to make massive changes, specifically who make content around, like GTA or shooter type games. That content is going to have to shift massively if they want to continue to make money on the platform, thanks to YouTube's wonderful new guidelines. And it's not just gaming, this has affected me as well. The last video that I produced just 2 days ago, that video was demonetized based on YouTube's new rules, and I had to go back and make some edits to it in order to pacify YouTube and get some revenue from that video. So let's go over the actual guidelines that they are now trying to force down the throat of creators. Now, it's a long list. We're not going to go over all of it. The two issues I want to cover are the violence section and the inappropriate language. So let's go over inappropriate language first. It says, our approach to profanity is changing. All varieties of profanity are now treated equally, meaning they are not different based on levels of severity. So for example, light, moderate, strong, or extreme, and we are not treating hell and damn as profanity anymore. Therefore, profanity used in the title, thumbnails, or in the video's first 7 seconds, or used consistently throughout the video, may not receive ad revenue. Okay, so this is actually a very big change, and I want to go over why that is. Now, they've had guidelines as to profanity in the past, and if you wanted to make money, you had to follow those guidelines, and that's completely fine. But what they're doing now is they're changing the guidelines, and they're actually going back and demonetizing old videos that were following the old guidelines, right? So if you followed the rules 2 years ago, that video could receive revenue, but the rules have changed, right? It's basically, they're like Darth Vader from The Empire Strikes Back. They've changed the rules and there's nothing you can do about it. So a lot of content is being demonetized based on cuss words that in the past you could say, now you no longer can. So I actually reached out to a lot of larger creators, people I've talked to in the past. One of the creators is actually a guy named Isaac Butterfield. He has 1.8 million subscribers. He's a comedian based out of Australia. Now, Australians just on average seem to use profanity just in their normal language more often, and I'm not being racist. Many Australians will say that. And Isaac, if you actually watch his videos, he's been very good where he doesn't say cuss words in the first 30 seconds of the YouTube video, because that used to be the old guideline, right? Don't cuss in the first 30 seconds. Then basically you could say whatever you want after that, and you're fine. And I reached out to him because in the guidelines it says first 7 seconds or use consistently throughout the video, and that's what Isaac did, right? He used to not cuss in the first 30 seconds, and then after that he would cuss throughout the video, and that was fine. Videos were monetized. He could make money from that. He said that many of his new videos that he put out have now been partially demonetized based on YouTube's new guidelines, and I'm sure this is affecting hundreds, thousands of other creators as well. So that's incredibly inappropriate for YouTube to punish these creators who are following the guidelines. Don't cuss for first 30 seconds, and then you can cuss, you can say what you want after that, and now they're like, nope, changing the rules, your videos get demonetized. That's not okay, YouTube. Now, I'm actually going to say something in YouTube's defense right now. If YouTube wants to change the rules about profanity and they don't want people cussing throughout the new videos going forward, they can make that change. But to go back and retroactively change the past and demonetize all those old videos where people were following the rules in the past, that's just wrong. So the other issue I want to talk about is the violence section of the new guidelines. It says, non-graphic dead bodies presented without any context, game violence directed at a real named person, or acts that are manufacturing to create shocking experiences, such as brutal mass killings, implied moment of death, such as bombings, may not receive ad revenue. Standard gameplay where gory injuries are present after the first 8 seconds, non-graphic tragedies in their aftermath, such as footage of a town flooded, or police seizures as part of a law enforcement, may receive ad revenue. Now, this is not entirely true because this has actually affected my channel. So the video that I posted 2 days ago, it was about CopyZilla and Logan Paul. But at the start of the video, I briefly mentioned Jeremy Renner. If you don't know, he's one of the Avengers. He's Hawkeye, right? And he was actually recently injured in a snowplow accident. And at the very beginning of the video, I showed the image that he released on his Instagram page of him in the hospital. Now, I'll try and show it again. I don't know if YouTube will demonetize it. I might have to cover it up again, but it is later in the video now. This image that I showed is in no way graphic at all, right? It's just his face. He has some scratches on his face, a little bit of damage, but his face isn't ripped open. There isn't blood everywhere. This isn't a gory image by any means whatsoever, right? And I put that in my video in the first 30 seconds, and YouTube was instantly like, nope, you cannot receive money for this. That's a gory image, and we don't want to put ads on that. That is absolutely ridiculous how incredibly strict these new rules are. That is in no way a gory image, right? And if you don't believe me, that's why my video got demonetized. If there's another creator watching this, put that picture at the beginning of your video, first 30 seconds, and it's going to get demonetized as well. Now, it actually gets much worse than that, because some of the largest creators on the platform, Penguin or Moist Critical, as many people know him, 12 million subscribers, he actually got several of his videos demonetized as well. And what's interesting is he got his video demonetized, partially demonetized, because he had an ad for his comic book. He has an animated comic book, and they made a trailer for it, and there's, you know, an image of his superhero character smashing into a building, and, you know, some people die. It's not the most graphic thing ever, but that actually got his video demonetized as well. Even though it's graphic, it's not real or anything like that, YouTube's like, no, that is no longer acceptable. You're not getting any money for this. Now, this is going to have massive implications for many people on YouTube. Many channels are getting like half of their old videos all demonetized, and specifically content related around like shooters, like you know, a Call of Duty type gaming channel, or any type of content. I don't know, maybe even Fortnite at this point. I really don't know. But any type of violent content, and they are saying that gaming, shooting type games are violent content. Anything like that now runs the risk of basically being able to make no money from your videos going forward. Now, this has been big news. I know Moist Critical, I think he's made 2 videos at this point. There's been several other creators who have made videos about this at this point. And YouTube, up until now, has said absolutely nothing, right? YouTube needs to fix this. Going forward, putting an image of a dude in the hospital with some minor scratches on his face, the fact that that got my video demonetized is the stupidest thing I have ever seen in my life, YouTube. So whatever you do, you need to make changes to your guidelines. And for people watching, please reach out to YouTube. Don't say anything mean, of course. Don't cuss at them, because they don't like that when you cuss at them. But just very nicely tell YouTube that you don't like their new guidelines, right? This is going to ruin creators that have been on the platform for a long time, and it's going to make the platform a lot worse. Now, what's really weird about it is YouTube has a different platform specifically for children, right? They have a kids app. So kids aren't even supposed to be using the normal YouTube platform. It's supposed to be specifically for adults. So the fact that all of this very basic content that isn't gory, that isn't violent, is now getting demonetized for adults is just absolutely ridiculous. But I'd love to know, you know, your opinion. Go ahead and leave it in the comments below. What do you think about YouTube's new monetization rules? Is it just something YouTube creators need to work with, or does YouTube need to make some changes and you know, pull back on a lot of these changes they've made?